strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. Actually, for me, I think that it's quite straightforward. Internal, external. But I think that the best way to do it is to look at some example, all right? Now, so I use Starbucks as an example to analyze it. Now, of course, mine is very simple here. I just use an example. You probably will be able to write more things about any company. Now, what is the strength means? Now, we know that Starbucks is a well-known company, right? And all the staff are well-trained. And the best thing I think that right now, if you look at in Hong Kong, is they are the early comer. So the early comers will set up, because they are early, so customer get used to them. And nowadays, a lot of people, will turn out that it is a habit or routine to go to Starbucks frequently. When we look at Starbucks in the world, their locations, they like to locate close to the office areas. In China, in Hong Kong, the same. Big buildings, they will have one Starbucks inside the building. Now, at first you were saying that, what? You have one store in every building? Yes. What they're thinking of is that make it so convenient. So before you go up to the building, you will find that there is a Starbucks there. So what are you going to do? Buy a cup of coffee and start moving up. Now, sometimes, office will have a little break, right? So after the break, just like you guys, let's go to the canteen and have something to eat, right? So it is a routine that you're going to do. So because of that, you will not suddenly think of, maybe we should go to Causeway Bay and have a cup of coffee, right? You may be better than that, but, you're not going to make such a big fuss out of it. So you do see that, Starbucks will have it inside the office because they hope that you will develop this kind of simple routine. I was very surprised when I go to Hong Kong Bank, because I have to do training for them. So when I go there, I have to go up to almost the top floor. And when I walk out the floor, because that one is not for customers, I walk out the floor, the first thing I saw is a coffee shop. But in there are Pacific Coffee. I look at it. Is this belong to Hong Kong Bank? I say, no. They rent the place and then they have a coffee shop there. They're saying that because this is a meeting place. They have a lot of meeting room there. So they're saying that sometimes the staff could come up for meeting and then they go and buy a cup of coffee because it's too far away to go down, to go somewhere. So they make it so convenient that, you just pick it up anywhere on the way to the meeting. So now, when you look at your strength, and that can help you later on to think of, should I have a lot more location or less location? If you want to make them as a hobby, that, it is habits to go, make it more smaller, that is what they do. Weaknesses. I really think believe it. And they changed this one in the recent year with the new CEO. They have too many Starbucks everywhere because it's not expensive to open a Starbucks. In America, they have I have this experience. I sit in one Starbucks. I look out the window, I can see the other one. In Hong Kong at that time, they were too popular. So later on, their business go down because the competitor coming in. So the new CEO actually cut down over 200 some shops in the world because they were saying that seems like if you have too many shops in short distance, you're competing with your own self. Then you say that when people go for coffee, they don't have too much time to wait for it, right? So what they did is that instead of open more, but they also make sure that the speed, to offer you the coffee should be faster because you don't want to wait for too long. That's why they automation all the coffees, making. Now, opportunity. Do Starbucks have more opportunities? Yes. They are start producing new product and service. In the past, they only offer coffee. And later on, they start offering pastry. Because sometimes I just think coffee would be nice to have a piece of cake, right? So they offer that. Nowadays, if you go to Central, some bigger one, they offer you a light lunch. You can go and see in, let's say, in Landmark. If you go into the Starbucks there, besides coffee, you can also buy small lunch box salad with a little bit of meat, and they can warm it up for you. Actually, they really saying that it's light lunch. That they will offer you coffee and a little pastry and a salad or a sandwich, because they know they cannot just continue just offering coffee. They want to see what are the other interests that people have. And recently they even had come up with a set afternoon tea that you buy the coffee together with some of the snack, then get cheaper price. Now, what are the threat? One of the biggest threat is the coffee bean. Now, someone told me, expert in coffee, told me that coffee bean, because they grow so much, and they kind of worry the plant will die, because if you grow too much too long, because they have lack of nutrition, so they need to either plant on some other places or plant different kind of plants there. So it is an agriculture concept. I'm sure that you heard of it, right? That one kind of product, they will draw a lot of nutrition from the ground. If you continue growing the same thing, they will lack on nutrition in that particular kind of soil. Now, so number one, coffee bean is getting, tough to get. Second, they also is that the world now is focusing, saying that the farmer who grow coffee beans do not have a very good environment. So they're saying that they do need to like helping the farmer more to grow the beans. And so coffee bean actually is getting expensive. It's not just the bean itself, because then they have to think of helping the farmers. Right now, like Starbucks understand this threat. What they did is to ensure they have enough coffee bean. They actually not just saying that buy the coffee bean from the farmer. They actually like to buy the farm to guarantee they have enough coffee bean. But also they also will give the farmers education money for the little kids, to help the farmers. In other words, it is a good image for the company. So these are the SWOT analysis they have. Actually, by looking at each of this, I can tell you that why they come up with certain kind of strategies is because they see what are the strange, how they're going to come up with a plan that is making use of their strength and trying to avoid the weaknesses. Now, we cannot correct it, but the good thing is, if you know that is a weakness, try to avoid it. They have the strength, the opportunities, but they know the threat. And what they did is, just like they try to compensate the farmer, they hopefully that to avoid the threat as much. Now, that is one example. I think I have another one. Nike. You know about Nike, right? Do you know about Nike? Shoes, right? They are very famous. Actually, I one of the summer, I went to United States and visit this company because I happen to have a friend working there is in IT, and actually my home was in that same city. Nike have a very nice shop, head office there. Because my friend was working there, so I asked him a few questions. I'm quite interested about Nike's operations. First thing I asked Nike, I saying that which period of the year you have the highest sales? Now that is important because that will affect the schedule of the whole company for the whole year, because you have to figure out when is the highest sales period. Then you have to think of before that you have to come up with new product. You want to push it at before that time. Can you guess when is for shoes, for Nike shoes, when is the best selling period? Anyone know? How about the online? They all stop there. Nobody responds. I don't want you to fall asleep because it's 1 hour already. Summer? Summer? No. Summer? No. Winter? Okay. No. Huh? No. Christmas? That's what people think. But it is not Christmas. At first, that's what I think. Of course, your Christmas. They say no. Crazy. What you buy in Christmas? Gift, right? Will you buy shoes as a gift for your friends? You can't, right? You cannot just say, here is the gift. You open it, is the shoes, right? You have to try it out. So, no. Chinese New Year. Chinese people don't want to buy shoes in Chinese New Year. I saying no good. Right? Some of the old-fashioned, I was wondering why you cannot buy shoes in Chinese New Year. I say, no. Easter? No. What they got to do with shoes, Easter? you don't buy Christmas, you buy Easter? See, this is what Nike's strategic thinking is so brilliant, because they look at people's habit. When that people will, Nike shoes is very expensive. They have the low end, but that is later on we'll talk about. When you are willing to spend so much money to buy a pair of shoes for yourself, or you think of Christmas, you like to buy things for others. When will be the time that you want to buy things for yourself? Huh? Start of the new year? Not really. I already said, start of the new year, you don't buy shoes. Although I like it, if it's on sale, I'll buy. I don't care when, what time of the year. Because I don't believe, that buy shoes, that means that you are sad, After I buy the shoes, I'll be happy. The answer is very simple, but we never thought of it. Is that when you want to buy something for yourself, to make yourself happy, relate to something like the NBA season, that is another issue. That's why they have Michael Jordan as their Michael Jordan to sign the name. Thanksgiving Day, you buy gifts for others. All right. I'm glad you are awake to answer me. But the answer is, have you heard of 光棍日? November 11th is coming soon. You say, why? Because, that's right, November 11th, 光棍嘛. So what is that day? It's the poor single guy. Nobody buy gift for them, right? So they're thinking of, since I'm single, nobody buy things for me, I buy things for my own self. So what? If you buy things for your own self, or you want to buy something expensive and good, right? It's saying that November 11th, there are major market sales from China, and that is the best-selling day of the year. Because I think that is only if Chinese people have 光棍日, right? Okay, now, so that is one thing, Second, Nike have one problem is that because they are very famous and they have very good second-hand market. So in other words, a lot of people will buy Nike in the second-hand market. They pay even more money for the second-hand because it is like a limited edition. So after they bought it, they can resell it in the second-hand market. So Nike was facing a lot of problem. That is, people like to steal their shoes. Now, if they don't have the second-hand market, you only buy from the shop, then they cannot do it. But if they have a second-hand market, then probably that once they got the shoes, they can sell it in other places. So Nike went through saying that Nike have the biggest problem is that people like to steal their shoes. And when they say that stealing is not just stealing one pair, whole shipment. So I say, Nike, what can you do about it? People like to steal their shoes by shipment. Can you guess? Again, this is something. This is why I'm saying that I enjoy seeing and talking to this company because they come out with excellent idea we never thought of it. And after they told us, they said, "Oh yeah, it's simple." So more security, guys, more security. If you put more security, it's more expensive. That's for sure. The shoes itself is pretty costly already. And no one, not even Michael, you can tell. Michael, are you still there? You have any solutions that how people cannot steal shoes, Nike shoes? Yeah, maybe because of the design. No, actually, not only the design. They say they have technology in it. When I visit that company, I see people running around the campus. Two of them running. Then I was thinking, why? They're saying that they really have physically tested the shoes. So they have some people, they hire them just to wear the shoes and running around. Culture? What they got to do stealing the shoes? Hunting of any? Usually when you buy shoes, you will have a box of shoes, right? They will put it in a box with left hand size and right hand size shoes, right? Am I correct? What Nike did is when they do any shipments, they will only ship the left side of shoes or right side of shoes in whole shipment. So if you steal it, you only have the right size. Or sometimes, unfortunately, you have the left side and they are different color or different size, but they only have left side or right side. So after you steal it, can you sell it? You can't because you have to be lucky and fortunate enough to find the other pair with the same color, same size to match it. So I was saying that wonderful, this is really they are thinking of the strategic on securities that nobody ever thought of. Security, we're thinking of what? Security, right? We haven't thought of that. When you do the shipment, you can do things differently. All right, now so let's get back to seeing that what Nike's strength and weaknesses are now. This are all right. The strength, of course, Nike manufacturing a lot of well-tested, high-quality product. Yes, this company is the same too. They have a research and development department, which even you work there, you cannot go in because highly confidential. They really test their shoes. And many of the products use very high quality, very lightweight and durable materials. True. And they are one of the key leaders to try to emulate. Now the weakness is Nike is not making their shoes in America. And they are making shoes in Asia. So they are kind of worried about the labor practice. So people may have give them a negative, image saying that you are paying the labor with less money, you don't treat them well. That probably may affect their image. Now, what are the opportunities? Since they have second-hand market, and also Nike all along have very good reputations on quality. So they are thinking of, is it possible they are going to have some places that they cannot afford it, but still like Nike? So in other words, they are thinking of they occupy the high-end market. So if that is the case, is it possible they have a little bit low-end market in the underdeveloped countries? So in that case, they can use the old models or the leftover inventory, to sell it to this kind of society, this part of the world. They still will be able to make money. But the threat is nowadays, from 90s start onward, there are a lot more other sports shoes are coming in, especially a lot of the product they make in Asia. And can they be good? Because you know that, they can copy their quality, and they can copy, the lightweight. They may not be as doable, but they are cheapest too. So what they are worried is that the competition is getting, more strong, because they are selling shoes. Is selling shoes. You just can have a different design. If you're talking about doable and comfortable, it may take a long time for people to realize it. All right, now, so we finished looking at this example. Now let's finish the other part, the 6 steps. We are moving on. After we understand all that, then company will be able to start up their strategies, formulate, right? Now, in formulate the strategy, what they're thinking of, they have to thoroughly understand the external environment. Internally, what kind of resources they have, including what they are capable in doing it. Now, in set up corporate strategy, there are 3 of them. Corporate, competitive, and functional. Later on, the second part of my lecture will focus in corporate, and next week we'll talk about competitive. Functional, we don't talk about it, because functional is later on when you study marketing, that is functional. Accounting, that is functional. Logistics, those are functional. But what we were looking at is corporate. Now, of course, after you formulate the strategy, you have to implement it, right? And you also have to evaluate it. When you evaluate it, if your strategy is not doing well, you probably have to redo it again, make some adjustment. It's just like planning, right? No guarantee that the first time you do it, you'll be correct. Okay? Now, so let's take a 15 minutes break. We come back and we're looking at corporate strategies. Okay? By the way, I hope all of you have get on to Microsoft Teams. The one that in class, can you access to Microsoft Teams for attendance purpose? Can you? Yeah, do that. So while you're taking a break, I will download your attendance and copy it.